Grab your wine. It's time for Rosé All Day and Julie's a Mess, where we talk about current events and living in an intersex life. And now, here's Julie.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rosé All Day, Julie's a Mess. I am your host, Julie, and this is my co-host, Rebecca Davis. We are coming to you with our sub-thread of Rosé All Day, Julie's a Mess called OIO, Optimistic in Orlando. And it is all about online dating, the woes and the highs and the woes, right? Instead of lows, I say woes. The gutter swipes, the gas station chocolate, things we've covered before. If you are listening to us from Radioland or your car, thank you for doing so. We love the support wherever podcasts can be found. And then if you're joining us live tonight in studio, thank you for doing that as well. Remember, there are chat options available on YouTube, so you can join the chat. We love hearing from our guests. And we love hearing your thoughts on whatever we tend to be talking about each week. This week's topic for episode 9 of OIO, Optimistic in Orlando, is relationship or response times, right? So a long time ago, it used to be about the guy would take the girl out on a date, and then the girl was supposed to wait a couple of days before making contact to see if the guy was interested. It's 2023. What girl can even get a guy to take her out these days? So, that's what we're talking about this week is who calls who reaches out to who, and at what point in the conversation, if you're reaching out to try and see if the date went well or if there is a genuine interest, is enough. So when do you call it quits? When do you say, what next? He's not responding or she's not responding. So, Rebecca, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, so I know a lot of people in my life, and I probably have fallen under this category before, have actual, I think there's a term for it now, like relationship anxiety, but there's also like anxious attachment or whatever. And I think that, so I still sometimes wait by the phone, even people that I'm seeing consistently, I'm like counting hours, and it's just a background thing that's on. I'm like, how long has it been since the text? What does that mean about our status? That's clearly unhealthy. However, a lot of us struggle with that. I think one of the problems is that people can then gaslight themselves into thinking that they're crazy because they're like, oh, I'm anxious because I haven't heard from this person. Is it okay that I haven't heard from them in 4 hours? Is it okay I haven't heard from them in 24 hours? Is it okay they dropped off for a week? Like, you kind of lose faith in yourself. And so I've come to the place where I'm like, I know a lot of people is he or she consistent? Am I hearing from them about the same amount of times, about the same amount of frequency? Does that feel good for me? Do I wish there was more? I know, and you've talked about people that blow up your phone all day long and never want to meet up. That's equally annoying. But I think the massive anxiety moment is when you've gone out with someone. Let's say you were texting every day up until the date, and then you go out and then you don't really hear from them for like a couple days or like even a week. And they're like, hey, I've been really busy. Like, let's set the next time. Or whenever it changes is when it causes me panic and maybe like real valid concern. But I think that's what you're like, kind of most nervous about too, is what about when you're sort of in the phase of just going out on those first dates, and like, are you allowed to reach out? Are you not? What goes on?
Yeah, it's weird because I've always felt like if the date went well, if it was your first meeting and it went well, it should be kind of like friendship in a way. What I mean by that is like, when we were all growing up and you met somebody new at school, right? And you knew that you were going to be a hit with them and you really liked their friendship, you spent like the next week making sure that you went to lunch at the same time they did. You sat at the same table they sat at. You hung out during recess or study period, or, you know, you would make plans to go shopping at the mall afterwards, or what are you doing after football? Like, you just made sure that you were with them all the time and that you were doing things. And I feel like dating should be like that too. And I feel like it should be even easier to do when we're adults, because we garner our own schedule and we know what is going on in the week, and we all have vehicles or cars or ways to get to each other. And so when it's not like that, I'm like, what?
I know, it's weird because it feels like there's two types of like expectations. And one is the people like you're just describing what you're seeking, where it's like, I want to like, we connect, we go out a bunch, we're super into each other, we're like off to the races from the beginning. And then some people, either they've been burned in relationships or they're non-committal, which you never really know which one you're going to get. The problem is the second category that I'm describing of like, oh, let's take it kind of slow. Let's touch base. Let's slowly get closer. Then we'll like gear up to seeing each other, you know, once a week to then multiple times a week. And now we're spending the night a lot. And people that like are kind of going on this slow journey, it's really difficult because if you have a temperance for that, or you want that yourself and you feel like it might be more stable, you're going to have this swath of non-committal people who are like skirting in there, and they're kind of like acting like responsible adults, wanting to wait and see how it goes and develop closeness and then commit. But actually, like, I find 90% of those people are just non-committal and don't really want anything.
And that's when you want them to be upfront about it, right?
Right.
Just say you're non-committal. I was talking to a guy last week, and I had seen him before. We've gone out on a couple of dates, and I said, hey, can we do dinner this weekend at some point during the weekend days, right? And he had a long weekend, so I was like, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. I said we can go out Sunday night, but it would have to be after the podcast, so it would have to be after 8. And he was like, yeah, any of those nights would be great. Let's do it. We were in the process of seeing each other that night. And then I said, okay, so pick a day this weekend. He was like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, all right, pick the restaurant. We don't even have to go to a restaurant. We can go for dessert. It can be drinks. Can we see each other? And he was like, yes. And I said, great. Guess what happened?
You didn't see each other.
What? And he didn't call to say, hey, let's do it Friday night. Let's do it Saturday night. Let's do it. And I was like, you said to me, yes, we can plan that. And then you didn't follow through. And when I texted you and said on Friday, are we doing this weekend? Are we meeting for dinner? I like to plan in advance. I kind of want to know. It's not like I'm sitting at home not doing anything all weekend.
It's just like I need to know where to put you in the schedule.
I want to know, right? And then I heard once that guys don't like girls that are available all the time. And I was like, is that a red flag? So then I was like, okay, but you still need to call me to let me know where in the schedule, what we're doing, where we're going. Do I need a raincoat? Do I need rain boots? Do I need tennis shoes? Are we going to EDC? Are we going to a soccer game? Are we going for, like, tell me what the fuck we're doing.
Well, what did he say back about when you?
Nothing.
He didn't reply at all.
No. And then he told me that he's going out of town this week. And so then it'll, because he consults out of town, and then he's like here on the weekends kind of. And I was like, I'm so confused. Like, that is so confusing to me. But then you get the guys that if you are very like, plan it. Do you know what I mean? So like the guy I dated in Savannah was kind of like this. And I would be like, what's the problem? He'd be like, well, you're so demanding of my time. And I'm like, I just want to know what we're doing.
No,
and then
some
if
of
we
these men
plan
who
something,
are so low.
and then
that
if
they
we
get mad
plan
at you.
something, show up to do it.
Yeah.
Don't make me wait for 4 hours on a Saturday for you to show up and then be like, oh, I was playing video games, or oh, a friend
I
came
took
over.
a nap.
Then call a bitch and tell her.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand this because you're like, you don't want someone who's always available. And yet the only way that you can call people up like Uber Eats or take a nap and forget that you had plans that night and then be like, are you still available? Is if that person is constantly available and has zero plans. If you want to be with somebody who has a life, you have to work to get into their schedule. So I don't understand this mixed message of like, you shouldn't be too available and have a life and blah, blah, blah. And then you want to like play video games, hang with your bro, get drunk, fall asleep, wake up, and at 9 p.m. be like, all right, I'm feeling kind of tired. I don't know if I want to go out to dinner, but do you want to come over and watch a movie? No, I'm out with my friends now.
There's a great meme going around. And I saw it a couple of months ago and I just thought it was so funny. And it said, ladies, quit saying yes to the guys that only want to come over and see you after dark. You're not a roach. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's so true and so hilarious. If you're just joining us and you're watching us live right now, please join in the comments section. We love to hear your thoughts about our topics each week. If you have a topic that you would like us to discuss in future episodes, reach out to us at info@justjuleigh.com or at julie@justjuleigh.com and tell us what you're interested in hearing about, and we will cover that topic. We were talking about response times. We always run out of time at 7:12, so we're kind of still trying to find our flow with OIO and figure out where we want to go next. We had some interesting things develop this week, so I think we're going to spend a little bit more time on the back end doing matches. Ironically, Rebecca was just in Florida this weekend visiting her family. We could not meet up, which was heartbreaking because I love seeing her and she was just around the corner, but she's going to come back and we'll end up doing a show probably in the studio. We'll be together and we'll be right next to each other. And that should be an interesting dynamic in the future. She did rush back home to Savannah so she could kind of play around and pick out matches for me. So we're going to get to those shortly. We're going to talk about something that we talk about every week that has kind of been something I look forward to, especially as we're trying to teach all of you out there about some of those dating woes on online dating. And it's something that she and I call gutter swipes and gas station chocolate. Gutter swipes, just to fill you in if you're new to the show, gutter swipes are guys that we all kind of fall for on social media, right? They're gorgeous. They usually, I wouldn't say they're out of our leagues because some of us are just as pretty and gorgeous. It's more of there's a telltale sign with gutter swipes that they are just looking to get into your pants. Oftentimes, their profiles are loaded with selfies of themselves in the gym or in gym mirrors. Oftentimes, they are showing off that V. If they're totally cut, they're showing you some people would say Abercrombie models. Like you wonder a little bit if they may be catfishing you. Their profiles are usually pretty light. They don't tend to get into deep conversations in their profiles. They don't really, but we're interested. It's 2:00, as Rebecca says, it's 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And we're like, oh, yum. Oh, I would love to go out. Oh, yes. Right. And then when you finally get to talk to them, they are very I don't even want to say vapid. Sometimes, anyway, we call them gutter swipes. She always has a better way of explaining them, but I feel like we're fishermen on a fishing trip. We caught a good one this week. And so something we're going to introduce into the show, especially for those that are watching at home, is we are going to do a gutter swipe of the week. I did not talk to Rebecca about this, but out of all the gutter swipes that I get each week, we're going to take kind of the cream of the crop and we're going to showcase them, right? And so this way, people at home that are watching on our YouTube channel can see examples in the flesh, in the screen of what we mean by gutter swipes. We can break down the conversation. We can even pick Rebecca's brain a little bit in why she thought. Now, in this case, with this gentleman, we were unsure if he would be a gutter swipe. Mm-hmm. But there's usually a telltale moment in the conversation that gives it away. And then you're like, yep, that's what they're looking for, right? So I'm going to bring the picture up. We have darkened out his eyes and the eyes of the young woman that was in his profile with him because we don't know who she is. We're not trying to give away her identity. We're not really trying to give away his either. But I want you to be able to see, as we describe it, that there are some asshats out in the world, and this one was it's a good gutter. My drag queen mother hosts bingo every week, Rebecca, on Wednesdays at this club locally here in Orlando called Savoy. And whenever somebody wins a bingo, they'll bring the card up to her and she verifies it. And she'll always say, blah, 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 blah. That's a good bingo. Grab a prize off the gift table. And so I was laughing this week because when his tell came last night during the conversation, I went, that's a good gutter swipe. So I was like, oh, okay. So let's do this. Let's bring up the gutter swipe. Also, I was digging around in storage last night, Rebecca, and looking for a sign for a friend of mine that says, please don't feed the whores drugs. And, and I came across, I got that sign while I lived in Savannah. And I came across a doll that somebody had given me in my 30s for my 30th birthday. Now, the doll itself is a gay man's Barbie doll that was called the Billy doll. And his actual doll name is Carlos. But I shared with Rebecca last night, I was like, if Gutter Swipes had a doll, this would be the equivalent of that doll. And she was like, oh my God, we have to show that in the show. So we're going to show you that as well. But for the purpose of this, we are going to bring up
here we go.
Gutter Swipe. Now, if you're watching from at home, put my glasses on real fast. I'm going to break this down a little bit for you. On the left of your screen, if you're watching from home, you will see his first profile picture. In that profile was him and another woman. Now, Rebecca had said, you don't know who this other woman is. Could be a sister, could be a friend. They don't talk about it, right? Now, his profile says no kids, never married, 2 flags, looking for a woman who wants to go skiing, skydiving, and surfing all in the same day with a little lovemaking mixed in at various altitudes. Okay. 5'11", he's active. He's a Virgo. He has a graduate degree, rarely drinks, never smokes. He wants something casual. He's open to kids. He's Catholic and conservative. And then at the bottom of his profile, it had another picture, and it says that he lives 66 miles away from me in a city called Ocala, Florida. Now, the first question I asked him, which is the given question on the Hive, was, I'd rather not talk about ... He said, what I do for a living. I said, politics. Now, his answer comes up, and I said, that's fair. I'm a stripper. I don't like talking about that either. Now, I said that because I could already tell that he was going to be a little standoffish and that Rebecca was probably correct in saying he was a gutter swipe. So from there, we went down and he says, you can probably guess what I do. I don't like to answer questions about it. And English isn't my first language, so if I'm not making any sense, please tell me. I said, I actually can't think of what you do. To which he responds, not with, oh, I do this, right? He responds with, I speak 17 languages. So my first thought, Rebecca, was, we're going to bounce out of here real fast and we'll bring it back up in a second. My first question was, I didn't ask that you speak 17 languages, but I literally was like, okay, like, well, we're not talking about what you do, but you think that I can figure it out. And then the second thing you said was, I speak 17 languages. Now, I think in response to that, I said, you're a fighter pilot? Because he talked about in his profile.
Yeah, he was in the army or something, like he went to training.
He goes to like a military academy, and that since he was a kid, he's been thinking about aircraft like jets.
Oh, that's right.
And so I was like, oh, he's a fighter pilot. And then, but he didn't respond to that. And then he was like, I speak 17 languages. And I was like, great. So I was like, I don't know where he's going, right? So then you'll see, at this point, I wasn't really serious in the conversation. I thought Rebecca's probably right. He's going to be a gutter swipe. Now I just need to wait for him to give me the give, right? Rebecca, what's the give when you're doing gutter swipes?
It's kind of, I mean, it's the moment in which the person falls into, I mean, we're essentially doing entrapment in dating, but the moment that they send a dick pic, try to order you like an Uber Eats, want to see a titty, whatever it is, it's the second they give away that they are indeed either narcissistic, an asshole, or just want to get laid and nothing more.
Here we go back to the conversation here at Just Julie and Optimistic in Orlando. So with that, he says, I speak 17 languages. And I said, but I don't want to ask because you just said you don't like to talk about it. And then I said, that's impressive. And so he said, so yeah, piece it together. Piece what together? That you speak 17 languages? So at this point I said, oh, I think you're a spy and you're into espionage. He then said, I tried, where did I put it in? I think I put it in. So he says, I think you're into espionage. Where are you located?
So he doesn't respond to your thing about him being a spy. He just jumps to where are you located, which sounds like he's opening up Uber Eats and is about to press order.
Right. So he said, where are you located? And I said, Orlando. And he said, that's not too far. I'm in Ocala. And my response was, yes, I'm aware. I can't speak 17 languages, but I can read. And that was on your profile. Right. So now Julie's getting a little saucy. And so at that point in time, he goes, oh, I think I hit a nerve. And I said, you didn't hit a nerve. I mean, no nerve was hit. You didn't hit a nerve. But I can read.
First of all, I got to back up for a second.
But then I got to give you the gift because the gift's coming up.
I can't wait for the gift, but I need to walk you through my mental process. So first of all, my first thought is he doesn't want to talk about what he does. He's a stripper. And then you're like, I'm a stripper. Funny joke. He didn't go for it. And then it was like, and this is a typical gutter move. He just starts having the conversation he wants to have. And he's not responding to what you're giving or what you're asking or whatever. He's just like, he's just like mowing you down. Like, this is how it's going to go. So now I'm like, is he a spy? Like, what is the 17 languages about? Also, what a sloppy ass, gutter ass spy you are if you're doing that.
And that he was like, piece it. So yeah, piece it together.
I'm like, are you an international gigolo?
I'm like, well, what are you?
Anyway,
so then we get to the part where he says, oh, I must have hit a nerve. And I said, no nerve was hit. And his response to that was, and here it is. I even highlighted it for those at home. This is the giveaway that this schmuck was indeed a gutter swipe. He says,
Uh-huh.
you see it? Here's your giveaway. I can hit other things though. So when he said I hit a nerve and I said, no nerve was hit, he said, I can hit other things though. And I said, oh, yes, because, now you're playing into it.
Yes.
Would you like that? Maybe. Is it impressive? You will be putting it in my backyard if you get my drift. Because by this point, I thought he hasn't acknowledged anything about myself or what I've said in my profile. So he probably doesn't even know that he would be going through the back door to my casa. And so he then says, I'll show you. I didn't add all the combo, but he said, I'll show you if you are real.
Okay.
And I said, I'm real. And he said, okay, give me your number. And I said, wait, you can't show me on here because in the Hive, you can share pictures.
Yeah.
And he says, I could, but if you're not going to give me your number, that's highly suspicious.
Oh my God.
And I said, you're the one who won't talk about your job. I don't give out my number right away. Well, the conversation goes on and on. He finally sends me 2 dick pics. Not really impressed. I mean, not really.
I was gonna say, tell us.
Impressed. I mean, it was big, but I mean, I was just already like, ugh. I was just like, gross.
We didn't want to.
And so then, he was like, I said, he goes, show me a bunch of your pictures. And I said, you can find my pictures at lonelycans.com. And he said, I'm not going to pay for pictures. And I said, well, you would know I'm real. And then he said, if this has just been a setup for me to go look at your Lonely Cans page, then I'm going to be extremely upset and highly unmotivated. And I was like, I'm already unmotivated, dude. And I said, and because of your lack of conversation skills, even though you know 17 languages, I'm going to report you and block you. And that's what I did. Because I was like,
These men that are like, okay, and I have so many feelings, but it happened early on where, first of all, he's like, the onus is on you to figure out something about him. He's early narcissist signs. Then he says, oh, I hit a nerve, which is suggesting that you're sensitive and is putting you in a position in which you're emotional. And he's responding to someone who's being unreasonable. And so it's like, that's kind of a setup. And then it's getting into a setup where, oh, you're this like Eve character or this sneaky, shady woman who's just wants me to pay. I mean, it's accusation after accusation after accusation, constantly putting you on the defensive, constantly putting you in the position of wrong, where the whole time he won't even tell you what he does, who that woman is, and is like totally got his own agenda. And now it's my fault that I'm entrapping you to no, I'm just literally giving you back exactly what you're giving. And by the way, for my own entertainment and for my show.
Bam. And then, I sit here listening to everything you're saying and I'm like, there are tons of pages on Facebook of groups where women give their 2 cents about guys that they are dating, right? And some of these guys are posted multiple times in the span of a year on the same site. And it's different women saying, hey, I just got engaged to Brandon. Does anybody know Brandon? And then like 89 people log in and say, oh my God, he's got 19 wives and he killed a caribou in Alaska with his bare hands and then spit there's all like these random things. And then guys get really insensitive that they're posted on there. And then you have these it girls that are like trying to be the savior and go run to Brandon and say, oh my God, you've been posted 36 times for your asshole ways on this website. And then Brandon gets all bent out of shape. And then like, and it's literally like, what the fuck is going on? That one, all these men are pissing off all these women. Two, they're probably sites for women too, but the guys don't care as much to post about them all the time, you know, except for the serial like Russian brides that cut off body parts and throw them out the car windows. And that like, but it's, you're literally like, dating is a shit show. It is a shit show.
Yeah,
There are a couple, there was a guy on the Hive the other night that said to me, by the way, that's my nieces and nephews in my profile picture. Please don't yell at me because I'm cheating on my wife because I've never been married. But then at that time, I literally go, okay, but women are so used to then being married and having 19.78 kids across America. How do we know that that's not what's going on? And why would you even put them in your profile picture? Like I personally would not put pictures with other people's kids in my profile picture.
It's like dangling, like kind of asking for trouble and then being like, don't get me in trouble. And it's annoying. I also don't like it when men come in with, and I know women can be absolute assholes to each other, to men, to everyone. However, we're talking about very particular patterns that we are seeing among often cis straight men, in my experience. But they're like, oh, I don't like women who complain, or, oh, don't tell me off, as if everybody here, we're all just sitting around waiting to be bitchy. Do you know what I mean? They're like, I'm anticipating you to be bitchy and telling me off about something you just saw and being unfair, and it's not right. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I have no interest in what you're saying.
And in the same way, I laughed because there was a post in one of those sites on Facebook just last night, because we do research for this show. We go through and look at different things. And this girl came on, she was like, hi, I just got engaged to Paul. These names are all like random, whatever names. I just got engaged to Paul. Does anybody know Paul? I would love the tea and any red flags. And I thought, you just got engaged, but you have such a lack of trust that you're already assuming that Paul is popular in Jacksonville, Florida, and has all of this backlink. And people are like, girl, you're gorgeous. I hope it works out for you. Just go do your thing. And you're like, why are you fishing for information on a man that you just got engaged to? I wouldn't want to know personally.
Well, my thing is, wouldn't you kind of want to do that, like,
before you get engaged?
Before you go on the first date, like after they start being weird. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, everyone's just so burned and paranoid, and it's just achy breaky heart out there. Like, right. It's just, yeah.
I mean, if you can't trust them, don't get engaged.
Yeah, agreed.
So, okay. Speaking of Carlos, the Billy doll. So Billy was a gay Barbie doll that came out in the early 90s. He was a muscled kind of Ken doll, right? We talk about Ken being Kenough. This was like if Ken had taken steroids and was working out at Muscle Beach, that's what the Billy doll was. And well endowed. Billy was well endowed. It's a gay doll. I mean, so anyway, he had a boyfriend named Carlos. And so for my 30th birthday in San Francisco, a good friend bought me a Carlos doll because Carlos had the look that I like and still like. Rebecca probably saw it and thought, good God almighty, that's her type. In a nutshell, I mean, that is my type even now. I really enjoy Carlos. However, if there was a gutter swipe
doll, just to be clear.
If there was a gutter swipe doll, it would be Carlos. So we're going to show you what Carlos looks like. Carlos is well endowed, but we did not show that because it is YouTube and we're not trying to break any community guidelines. However, Rebecca had pointed out that usually gutter swipes, if their whole profile is not made of pictures of them in the gym bathroom in front of a mirror, you always get at least one. And so for that reason, when Rebecca said, okay, we got to put these pictures in the show, I wanted to frame them up and make it look like what you would be looking at if you were swiping left or right and you came across a gutter swipe. So coming to Christmas everywhere, we should sell the gutter swipe doll, Rebecca. Maybe that's how we make money for this podcast. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. So you can't see it because of the banner. I'm going to remove the banner. Gutter swipe, the gutter swipe doll. So this is Carlos.
And he's not even fully groomed, is he? Or is that part of the underwear?
That's not part of the underwear. He definitely has some manscaping. But I mean, you saw last night. We're not showing.
It's tasteful.
It's not like an overgrown,
Yeah.
bush.
No, it's tasteful.
But and look, who doesn't want a man that looks like Carlos or Billy? I mean, that is hot. Ironically enough, if we put some bear paws on the front of his chest, it would look just like a guy that I went out with in Savannah. It was a one of those MMA fighters. But I mean, I ain't mad at it.
I'm not mad at it either. And it looks like he's wearing a thong in the back, but then I realized that you can move his legs. But either way, it kind of works.
Yeah, you can move his legs and make him bend over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then you can see all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Or you could just turn the doll around. I mean, you can see.
We did. Yeah, it looks like you left us a little bit of a treat from behind.
Imagination.
Yeah.
Imagination. I guess I could put his full frontal on my lonelycans.com page. I guess I could do that. If anybody wants to see it, or you can, just Google.
What I want to know here about the necklace is it permanently like that, where it's sort of a choker in the front, a necklace in the back, or did you move it? Does it move?
Well, it moves. I didn't move it. It does move. I mean, like you could it's supposed to look like Carlos, I think he came with a little towel that had Billy inscribed on it.
Very cute.
I think that, that's probably Carlos's like South Beach, Miami look.
Yeah. No, I'm here for I actually like the setup of the necklace now. I'm into his tattoos. I mean, we could look at this doll for a while.
We could. Trust me, I've looked at him for a while.
This is why people get pulled into the gutters. Because you're just, you're cock blind.
Yes. And I may have lied today. You know what sucks about being very vulnerable in public is you tend to fib when you are pushed up against the wall. I don't mean in a literal sense, but I went into a furniture store today just because I was trying to clear my mind. And I'm walking around the store, and this guy that looked like Carlos in a white dress shirt, black pants, no socks, and dress shoes approaches me, and he was like, "Hi, I'm here to fulfill all your furniture needs." And I said, yeah, I'm not really looking. And he was like, "But if you were looking," and I was like, "But I'm not looking." And he goes, "But if you were," and I said, "But I'm not." I said, "It looks like it's about to rain outside, and I don't have my own house." And I literally started just spitting my own life out. I was like, I just moved back to Orlando, and I'm living with two of my best gay friends, and the house is furnished, and I don't need any furniture, but a girl can dream if I'm ever going to get married. And he was like, I literally gave out way too much information. And then he was like, well, what's stopping you? And I went, a bad divorce. I had a really bad divorce.
No, No, I've totally done that in the middle of a vulnerability hangover. You're like, oh my God, just come up with something. We have to get out of here.
Right. And I was like, a divorce. I had a really bad divorce and I'm penniless. And, I love that bed in the corner, but let's be honest, I'm going to have to take a cardboard refrigerator box and spray paint it to look tufted. And he was like, well, we're here if you ever want to come back and get your furniture. And I was like, right now, I just want to go outside and just cry in the rain. Yeah, just get me out of here. Okay, it is 7:40. That gives us 24 minutes of Rebecca's picks.
Okay, we're going to work backwards because somebody went in there and cleaned out some of her matches, and we may have lost some of the ones that I picked earlier in the week. However, it's to be fair, I can't always keep up with how many people are in love with her. So
also, to be fair, they may be in love with me, but they certainly are not great at responding to messages on dating apps because we have not gone out on an official date in about 2 weeks. And I'm literally about to slit my wrist.
You're like climbing up the walls. Okay, we got to fix that. All right, so first guy, working backwards. Okay, this man. Now, by the way, guys, I'm going to introduce you to the idea of wild cards. Wild cards are people that I don't know that Julie would actually have picked out for herself. I don't know. They're not necessarily a gutter swipe, but they are kind of like, they're a wild card. We don't know. Maybe we try them, maybe we don't. I don't know if it's a fit or not. This one's like low-key a wild card. He is kind of like a more likely fit, but we'll see some wild cards along the way. So, all right, first picture, he is holding up a very shaggy, adorable dog, and he's wearing glasses. He has a nice gray beard. He's 48. Well, it's salt and pepper, excuse me. He says, from New Jersey, but have traveled around a lot. Recently moved back to Florida, but I have a goal of being able to go back and forth to the Northeast often. I know that could be a problem for you, but if it's the love of your life, it won't be. He can bring you with him. I work remotely as a business development manager and just looking for something that feels easy, not forced, not one-sided. We like that. He's 5'7". He works out sometimes. He's a Taurus. He rarely drinks, never smokes. He's looking for a relationship. He's Catholic. He's interested in cooking, coffee, road trips, dogs, and creativity. He only knows English. I don't think that's a problem after our last encounter. Then there's a very lovely picture of him with really fashionable, different blue glasses and nice, like sort of floral, but like very tasteful top. And like button down, and then I love a good suit jacket. And he has almost like a pocket square. He's a very stylish man. He reminds me of like a very nice, stylish, sort of zaddy gay man in this photo. Okay. Then he's asking, what TV show would you be in a main character in? After work, you can find me spending time with my dogs, either walks, park, dog park. I have 2 active golden doodles, and I enjoy spending a lot of time with them and other dogs. We've got 2 more pictures of him with his dogs, another picture of him with his dogs. So, is it a yes or a no? You seem
it's a yes.
Okay.
What were you about to say? I seem what?
Distracted. I'm going to send
trying to clean my glasses.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm going to send you this picture of him.
You got to love Rebecca because she's always like reading these things and then she'll look up every once in a while to see if she can gauge like my poker face. And she'll be like, you look really disinterested. And I'm like, oh, I'm just, taking it all in. Mm-hmm. I'm literally at this point, though, to be honest, all of our listeners, sometimes you're just like, just send them, just mark them all yes, and let's send them and talk to them and see if they bite. Like I literally, not that I'm desperate, but I'm just like,
no, you're desperate today. I'm desperate many days. No. You're not desperate in the way that you would go out with people that are below your standards. We do still catch a gutter and send them back out to the water. But we're getting a little downtrodden.
Do you have another photo of him you could send me?
I do. In fact, well, let me send you this one. These ones are real cute. Because he definitely has a real vibe there. And then in these, I mean, you better like golden doodles is all I can say. Because he reminds me of myself. It's like way too attached to their dog. And probably a little lonely in that case. We can call him Doodle.
I'm not interested.
Oh, God damn it.
Sorry.
All right. Can you tell me what it is, or do we not want to say? It's the age. It's the dog.
It's not the dog. The dog is actually the cutest. The dog is the cutest. There's something about him, though, that I just...
Do you feel unsafe with? Like if I stare deeply into the eyes in the second picture I sent you.
I almost feel like he's
mysterious.
I almost feel like he's not honest.
No, he does have deceitful eyes now that I look at it.
Very deceitful eyes.
He does have deceitful eyes. I mean, he could low-key be a psychopath. I'm really on point today, guys. I said he was a wild card.
He could be a wild card. He could be a wild, I'm going to chop you up and put you under the floorboards kind of wild card.
No, I mean, he's... Okay, we're going to move on. He does have deceitful eyes. I don't think he's a psychopath. He, we're reading a lot into it. Julie's just not attracted. I'm not going to get insulted. Okay, so we're swiping left. Oh, who is this guy? Hello. Okay, I'm going to take you guys through this real time. This guy could either be... Oh, he's a gutter. All right, here's what had happened. So the first photo, he's on a mountaintop. Okay, he's 26. That's a flag in and of itself at this point. Julie, are you okay?
My mommy loves me. Don't do that. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I was like, my mom loves me that you're supposed to raise your arms when you're like,
really?
choking. But then like, I've got the bat wings and that's not attractive.
They're not bat wings. I'm really liking your top and your hair. You just look so on point today.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very Jennifer Aniston today. This tank top is from Old Navy. It's one of those like thicker strapped tank tops. And it really like if you're standing at the side, people can look and see like the curvature of your tits.
Oh, yeah, that's very Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, but the only thing I don't love about it is I got the size that I should have gotten because it's one of those ribbed tank tops and they're really comfortable, but it's a little short. It's not cropped.
Especially
it's not a crop top, but it doesn't come, a lady of a certain age, we need it to come down just a little bit past our belly button.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to hike my pants up like Urkel just so the shirt covers my pants.
That's a tough ask.
It's a tough ask. Although I do have a tip while you're looking at the next one. The tip, ladies, is if you have a friend that can sew, anybody that can sew on a sewing machine, you can go to a craft store and buy the wide trim lace in a pattern that you like, or right now fringe is really in. So you buy a wide band fringe and they can sew it onto the hem of the t-shirt. So when you put it on, it hangs a little bit lower.
I like that. I just need to find people that can sew now. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to walk people through this gutter process. We'll move on from him right quick. He's on a mountaintop. It's very nice. He's 26. He's a machinist. He has a foreign name. He has jeans, a nice tight tan shirt, and then just trying to find my future wife. And then he's 6 foot, blah, blah, blah. Now he's got a picture with his mom, which we've discussed before can be a flag. She is leaning on him as if she's his girlfriend. He looks very 26 on this couch, probably at her house. I'm known for breaking my leg fighting an alligator. And then the last one, you can just tell he's looking on a boat, looking outward with terrible sunglasses. My personal hell is Costco. So just had to run you guys through that. Do we want to gutter him? Do we want to see what he has to say? He's going to have a thing about older women, as I promised you what he's going to say.
Oh, yeah, gutter him.
Let's gutter him and see. Okay. No, you're matched. Okay.
So now we are, Rebecca and I do this thing too, because she can go in and see the conversations when she wants to. So if we know it's going to be a gutter swipe, and y'all can help us figure out, because I'm like, they're eventually going to be. So what we do is I will type my answer to the question, and then I will put GS, right? The other night in my head, I was like, just saying, but you don't spell just with a G. So we got to figure out. So if a guy ever goes, what's GS? I can be like, it's a miskey or like whatever. But like, that's our way of knowing that we know it's a gutter swipe, and then see where it goes from there. Okay.
Okay. Next match. Let's see. Okay. This guy is also a bit of a wild card. He looks too nice to be a gutter swipe. He is your type. Okay, we're gonna start from the top. 38, lead data engineer at insurance. He says he's heavy on the emojis, which for some people might be a flag. Let's travel. Plain emojis. I'm a computer scientist, glasses emoji, and tennis player, tennis ball emoji. Always up for a match, wink. Born in Peru, lived 20 years in Miami. I analyze data, computer, to build pipelines, engineer emoji, which automate robots emoji. It's mining, and the mining emoji. It's transformation, lots of different emojis. I have no idea what it means. Into pretty charts and analysts. Chart emojis, aka data plumbing, and then he has a ninja emoji. So he's really into art. So 5'10", he's sometimes works out. He's a Libra with a grad school degree. I should hope so. He drinks socially. He's not sure if he wants kids. He never smokes. He likes horror movies, documentaries, electronic music, beaches, exploring new cities. He knows 2 languages, English and Spanish. There's a cute picture of him in front of what looks like maybe the Grand Canyon. After work, you can find me at happy hour. Then there's a photo of him with some kind of like colorful cow type icon made out of wood on a bench, and he's doing it with him. Then he's in a waterfall.
He's doing what with him? He's doing it with the cow?
He's doing it. No, he's making the same motion as the character. Okay, my personal hell is waking up early. And then there's one of him that looks like it's maybe in what's that city in Italy? I don't know, some city in Italy. Maybe Rome. I think I see the Duomo. If I could eat only one meal for the rest of my life, it would be ceviche. And then we have him. It's not great. It's like his blue steel, but he doesn't realize it. He's leaning on a thing, and he has the city in the background. Do you want to see a photo?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You're like, yeah, now. And she's like, now I know she's not interested in this one, but we'll see.
I mean, it's not your future husband. It's just, it might be better than gas station chocolate. You know what I mean? Like, he might be like a really fun guy to hang out with and have a good time. Yeah. And he's youthful. Okay. If you know what I mean. Okay. So,
can you hear the bells, Fernando? You know, sure.
See what he has to say. He might be a gutter. You know, it could go either way. So, okay. Let's see. I can find you one that's more adult. Okay, yeah, this guy. So this guy's oh no, he was like a wild card because he doesn't really have a bio. He has pictures that make him look nice, or he could be a gutter swipe. You know what? I'm just gonna decide for you and for the audience. We're gonna go right. We've got no bio to go off of, and we're gonna move on to the next. Sorry. I just got excited about seeing my dog. I don't know that it's going to be great. Oh, you've already matched with this guy. Yes, we know that. Okay. Now. Okay. This is another young one. He's 28. He has an ice cream in his hand in the first photo. Our first date could be a flight to somewhere else, is his about me. He's 5'8", active Virgo, undergrad degree, drinks socially. He's looking for a relationship. He doesn't know if he wants kids. He's Christian, moderate, interested in baseball, action and adventure, backpacking, dogs, ambition. Has a very cute, it's topless, it's just shirtless, but he's not like totally jacked. He's slimmer and very cute. He's smiling. Perfect first date. Going to get ice cream. Surprise. And then there's a really cute photo of him on the beach in his trunks, but he's not showing anything off. And it's about him having fun. There's another one of him like on a mountaintop. Then there's one of him with a dog. And he looks like he looks like he could almost be dorky, but is also real cute.
I like dorky. Let's see it.
Okay. So I'm going to send you his best picture first.
And
he's a manager at KPMG, which I think is a radio station or something.
Yeah, I think that's a radio station. And he's local?
Let me just double check.
Rebecca always has to check because she'll be like, okay. Julie, I found you the perfect match.
You guys, not again. He's located right now in Belle Isle, Florida, which I just assume that that's near you.
Belle Isle, that's pretty close to me. That's pretty close.
Okay, but guys, he lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is the journey that we go on.
And I just said, and then she'll find out that he lives in Pennsylvania.
I know. God damn it. Okay, moving on.
I do want to see it though. Did you send it?
Oh, okay. Let me send you though. Yeah. Hold on. Did I scan you?
I mean, here's the great thing about radio. If he likes me, he can always get transferred to a radio station down here.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, the thing is, I date across the country, the world, everywhere. So I'm always going to push that agenda.
Well, Orlando's a big touristy area. So
that's the thing is there's a lot of those people coming in. Wow. I really went on a young spree for you. All these matches are just.
I mean, he is cute. I don't know. I feel like the Hive lately, even when I was clearing things out.
It's disappointing. I haven't found as many good ones.
Lately, it's disappointing. It's like, I feel like, I feel like the Hive is like Old Navy.
It's totally Old Navy.
Literally.
You need to upgrade to Banana Republic, at least.
But this is what I mean. It's totally hit or miss. I don't mean in the quality of people that are on the Hive.
No,
I just mean that like month to month, it can be like clearance item t-shirts or it can be like brand new sweaters for Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like every time you go into Old Navy, you're not going to find. I went in today and I found these really cute tank tops. That is not the norm. Do you know what I mean? So what I mean by, I use a lot of metaphors. Rebecca knows this. Everybody knows this. Even in my book, there are tons of metaphors. But dating, like I don't do plenty of fish because it's usually plenty of bottom feeding fish. And so like the Hive has been very hit or miss lately. You either go in and find something you really like and you think, okay, my chances are great. And you get a lot of conversations in 1 month and you're paying for premium so you can see who likes you and that gives you better opportunities. Or you go in and you're like, I wouldn't go out with any of you. Not any of you.
It's slim pickings this week. I have to say. We did
realize that we name everything on this because we don't want to get in trouble legally. So I did find out that I have a profile on an older app called Cringe. I call it Cringe because what online dating app is really great for anybody? No. So we talked about maybe switching back and forth between the Hive and Cringe. We might do that a little bit. I've thought about even this week taking a break from I don't know. I mean, I just we're not going to take a break. We're going to keep going, but like it is just Rebecca and I talk about this all the time. I'll take the time and then we're kind of done for the week because it's already 8. But we understand and acknowledge that dating in 2023, especially when you are online, is not easy for anybody that's doing it. It's not easy for men. It's not easy for women. There is a great there's a great song. I'm gonna pull up the lyrics right now because I was listening to it on the way home today, Rebecca. We joked around last week that we were going to play Telephone by Sheena Easton, which used to be one of my favorite songs. And if you haven't seen the video, go watch it. It's literally her sitting by the phone, and the lyrics in the song are, "I've been waiting by the telephone," you know. And I thought, well, that totally goes with what we're talking about. But I'm going to bring up the lyrics to this particular song. And when I heard it, you know, I love the musicality of music. But I also really listen to the lyrics. And the lyrics sometimes are just as important as the rhythm of the song. And I just wanted to share this. Hold on, everybody. It was a duet that Leanne Rimes did with this guy. And it's called Everybody's Someone. And it features Brian McFadden. And I was listening to the lyrics as I drove home today, and I thought, this sums up absolutely everybody in the world, right? And everybody in the world that is single is looking for a partner or a connection or a date. And so we know firsthand, because we're living it, and I'm going through it weekly to get content for the show, but also to try and find my forever prince, that it is a shit show in the dating world. And when you add all the trauma in and trauma bonding, and maybe our show next week should be trauma bonding.
1000% done.
So that's what we're doing next week, is trauma bonding. Because people go, what is trauma bonding? Somebody, I read a quote, I heard a quote earlier this week that said, the single people that are not in relationships, and I thought, here we go. Let's hear relationship advice on why I'm single. Said it's because I am at a higher vibration and I'm not willing to trauma bond with somebody. And that most people that are in relationships these days are in trauma bonded relationships.
Wow.
So I'm going to find that quote. We're going to talk about it next week and get everybody's input on it. But I was listening to the song on the way home, and it says, and every day begins the same. Get up, go out, come back again. Same old, same old. 1,000 faces pass you by. You never look into their eyes. You feel so ordinary. They feel so ordinary. Hey, everybody's someone. No matter where you come from, there's light in every single star. You're more than who you think you are. Hey, everybody's someone. When it's hard to hold on, remember you are not alone. This house is everybody's home. And every day we seem to chase the perfect smile, the perfect face. Same old, same old. For everyone who gets to shine, 1,000,000 more are left behind. They feel so ordinary. You feel so ordinary. And then the hook is, from a king to a common man, we're all a part of a greater plan. You're more than who you think you are. Hey, everybody's someone. When it's hard to hold on, remember you are not alone. This house is everybody's home. And it just made me think of all the people that are on online dating and can't find a match and can't find anybody. And are starting to feel, because I fell into this trap today, you start to feel worthless and not worthy of a relationship with anybody, and you start to feel like there is nobody out there for you. And I just want to remind everybody that's listening or not listening that that's not the case. Everybody's viable. Every life is viable. Everybody was put here to experience love and life and success and celebration and pleasure. And just know that if you're feeling alone, you are not alone. We are all going through this cataclysmic period of relationships and turmoil and dating. We're all going through it. Men, women. I would like to think that goats that are running around in a field somewhere are also having a hard time hooking up with other goats. I just think dating is a shit show lately. So next week, we're going to talk about trauma bonding. I hope you got something from this week's show. We will continue with the gutter swipes because that's starting to become very fun for me. But, we're hoping, Rebecca and I hope that you're finding something out of each week's show that you connect with. And if you don't connect with something we're talking about, maybe you connect with us personally, which we love that too. And we want more people to come in and join the chat. We had about 4 watchers tonight. Nobody has joined the chat though. So we want y'all to come and do that as well. So please
feel free to interrupt us. We like to run our mouths, but we really do want to hear from you.
And we'll share. Look, somebody put this one up earlier. Oh my God, it's so good. And then we said, thanks. So, we like to interact and we like to share, and we picked a Sunday night because we feel like a lot of people are at home probably getting ready for the week, and it would just be, but anyway, next week, trauma bonding, what that means definition wise. We'll hopefully get some more gutter swipes, and we will hopefully have some people during the week want to try and take me out, because that's the goal. Rebecca, get some rest. I know you traveled to be back in Savannah, and we will push next week's show hard. So bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
For more content, follow justjuleigh.com. That's just Julie, JULEIGH.com. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us this evening. Join us next week as Julie tries a different rosé.